Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Round 2 Front 9 coverage of the 2022 European Open. We have Nate Perkins, Jeremy Colling on the commentary today, and it sets up for another beautiful day in Nokia, Finland.
Yeah, we couldn't ask for a better card. We've got Eagle McMahon, Paul McBeth, Gregg Barsby, and reigning world champ James Conrad.
All major champions. Incredible stuff that we have here today. Hole 1, iconic par 3, 322 feet. It's a straight shot. It seems easy off the tee, but with all the nerves, the big sign right there in front of you, the crowd, and this new beautiful television right off to the right, it makes it a little bit trickier than it might be on a casual day.
Yeah, you've got bleachers all around this tee pad. It's an incredible little setup that they have, and like we said in the first round, you can see your disc finish on the big screen.
And USA, Eagle McMahon!
Eagle McMahon kind of blowing us all away with his round 1 performance. No forehands. As you said just before we started, a transcendent athlete.
Eagles going tactic again. He was a little early last round, but ended up parking it with a favorable kick.
This one is a little bit perfect. Oh, maybe a bit inside, challenging those trees. No, that's exactly what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Beautiful shot.
Next to tee, in second place with a score of 11 under par, the 5-time world champion, 3-time and reigning United States disc golf champion, the 5-time and reigning European Open champion, representing Team Disc Golf the USA, Paul McBeth!
You know, if Paul's 30 seconds started once they started announcing all of his accomplishments, he'd have about 2 seconds to throw them once they finished. It's pretty impressive.
Time warning's a pretty sensitive subject right now in the disc golf world.
Back to disc golf, Paul a little bit low. But going with the mid-range, he's going with that buzz, and look at the nose-up skip. I mean,
The speed control on that is just
perfect.
a thing of beauty, Germ.
Phenomenal.
Next to tee, tied for the third place with a score of 9 under par, the 2018 World Champion, representing Team Innova and USA, Gregg Barsby!
So Gregg's performance here in 2017 is honestly one of my favorite performances at a major. He almost went wire to wire in that battle with Paul McBeth. He led every hole until the final hole of the tournament.
71 holes he led the tournament. 71.
And he is coming off a Silver Series win over in Norway. He's feeling good. He birdied 18 yesterday to make this lead card.
With a score of 9 under par, the reigning world champion, representing Team MVP Disc Sports and USA, James Conrad!
James Conrad, the winner of the last year's World Championships, also the winner of the 2019 USDGC. If he were to somehow put together an epic performance this weekend and win in Europe, I'd consider that the big 3.
I like that. He's going Envy here. This is a fresh, stable Proton Envy.
Yeah, and he's going to be just outside circle 1. He's going to have a jump putt look. Kind of a scary look on this elevated basket with a sloping green. But if we know one thing about James Conrad, he loves this distance. And why not?
Did you see that black on black Nomad that he's putting with?
Onto the black basket with the black Pudistamo basket. That is a lot of nice things going on there. James Conrad with a solid birdie. And Eagle up and in. And yeah, that's going to be some words there from Eagle. That is too close for the photographer with the shutter sound. Eagle able to deliver the birdie putt, but very important that not just the spectators, but the media as well has to maintain their distance, give these players as much focus as they need and require. we are going to start our first card, our first hole with a star frame on hole 1. Looked like
There's that look.
the photographer knew immediately. He had that look of, yeah, that was too soon. My apologies. Got to time that right.
Hole 2, par 3, 381. You can see OB all along that left side. Again, just throwing this into a slight headwind. We did see Eagle McMahon go lefty backhand. I'm curious if we're going to see that.
He did that both rounds in the President's Cup. I think he's committed to that play right
he's
now.
Committed.
He's putting it in the circle. I mean, I don't know how you develop a 400-foot backhand with your offhand.
Oh, okay.
He scared me for a second.
He did scare me. Cloudbreaker 3. Hangs this one a little wider.
Yeah. Once again, just a few steps outside the circle. That's a serviceable shot. The way he's been putting, I think that basket might be in some danger coming up here soon.
And Paul's been leaning on this stable force so far through this tournament.
Wow, good power. With that amount of width, you really have to have a ton of power behind it to drive it that full distance.
Yeah, he didn't even flatten it out, really. It was kind of all hyzer into the circle.
It's a lot more power than people give him credit for.
And this is a Scorpius from Gregg.
Is that the name of those glasses? Just kidding.
He might need that to sit down.
Oh my goodness. You rarely see one go out of bounds right, but Gregg has managed to do that with a big skip. And James, I'm guessing roller, but...
This is a volt.
Oh, it's not a roller. It's just a big turnover. We rarely see this line. And James Conrad is going to be out of bounds with the turnover never coming all the way back to the right, and that's a very scary shot. He's going to be out of bounds quite early. Very important approach shot for James now.
Absolutely is. Full shot into the pin. Well thrown with the Indy.
I don't think that this could have come in at a better angle, a better speed, and a better height.
His putter has only touched the ground one time, and it was a layup on hole 6 yesterday.
Yeah, are we counting that? Gregg off the cage. That'll be an early bogey. I'm sure he was not thinking about that out of bounds on the right side of the fairway. That is a surprising out of bounds to reach. And our two players at the top increase their lead by 2 strokes over Gregg and James with a couple of birdies versus a couple of bogeys if James knocks this down. And he does.
Did you try the game proofer?
I haven't actually given a shot yet, but that's actually a good thing to mention there. It's a really cool device that they have inside the pro shop.
It measures your speed and your spin, which I've never seen.
It measures flutter. It measures how far a disc will roll. It measures a ton of different things. It's a very cool little device. I'm interested to see more from Game Proofer as we look at par 5, hole 3, 863 feet, 263 meters for those here in Europe. Out of bounds left all the way, out of bounds right the whole way, but there's that little gap that makes you make a decision off the tee. Am I going 390 or am I going 260? From there, you have this elevated basket with out of bounds just behind this hill. You can pretty much guarantee anything that's going over that hill with any speed is heading out of bounds. So it makes the green area very difficult.
Both Paul and James carded the Eagle 3 on this hole during round 1.
That's right.
Eagle going PD here.
This has got to keep turning. Oh, it is turning a lot. That is a beautiful throw from Eagle. So much trust.
Yeah, that was wide with a stable disc.
McBeth sounded like a bit of a slip. It didn't look like it with his body English. And that's just over the out-of-bounds gap.
I think he put it 390 on the dot, just like you said.
Yep. Maybe a little closer than he'd like for comfort. Gregg, this is going to go out of bounds. Early tree kick, not nearly wide enough with that roller attempt, and that's going to be an early out of bounds. Early trouble here for Gregg.
James going photon here.
This is how the beast will get you. If you get drawn in to their out of bounds traps, it can feel like it's hard to get out of it. This has got enough turn, enough distance.
Huge shot.
And that puts James on the left side of center, which means I think he's going to have to go high with his next approach. The low ceiling is really reserved for those who keep their disc really turned over.
That's a good point.
Gregg just playing position golf. I like that. Not being sucked into trying to go big now that he's out of bounds, just playing it back in the fairway. You know, Paul's got eagle on his mind. And now he's got birdie on his mind. That changes things really quick.
Yeah, just kind of got on top of that force a little bit. Oh, this is Sun Crow? Is he going roller? No.
What? Oh, so close.
No, I just misspoke. I believe it was PD. I thought
Okay.
he was going Sun Crow roller for a second.
That would have been so ambitious.
And I believe James is lining up the high route. Photon again.
And this is not nearly wide enough. I don't think he's going to be in any danger of going out of bounds. It's just a little bit earlier than he'd like. This is an important shot for Gregg. The height has to be right. And the height was good there,
Yeah.
but what I ran into yesterday is that this grass absolutely gives zero skips.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
It skips near the green, near the basket, but short of the pin, that grass just swallows up the discs, and it's really important to air it all the way to the circle. And James is going to be happy to see that stayed close to the basket. That'll be a short birdie putt.
And these are the shots that we're just really not used to seeing. I mean, that's just a brand new shot for Eagle. I mean, normally he's just taking his tactic and just kind of chipping it up there. But he's really committed to not throwing any forehands. I mean, even under 200 feet.
I like it. Take the guesswork work out of it. And sometimes as faceted players that have the forehand backhand, you know, there's a lot of questions like, well, what do I go with right now? If you don't have to ask that question, you can really commit to a game plan and stick to it and get into a rhythm. Paul with the birdie.
It's one of those tournaments now, Jerm, where we should count the other way. How many pars have they had? Because I think Eagles still only had
one. He's had two.
Okay, he's had two.
2 pars.
And Paul's had 4.
Yeah, not many. I like the analogy that I heard Calvin Heimberg use one time to describe disc golf. He said, let's stop, or maybe it was either James or Calvin, but they mentioned that disc golf is closer to bowling.
Yeah.
And it's how close to perfect we can get, and not so much about how many mistakes. And really the only thing that ever changes in that is the course. And sometimes it's a little bit closer to what we're more traditionally used to with golf. But I have no problem with that. It's a sprint.
How about Chandler Kramer? Chandler has been playing some golf lately. I mean, he's not on this card, but I just saw him on that leaderboard, and the man is throwing all forehand.
100% exclusive, except for the putt. Everything is coming from the right side of his body, not the left side. And this course sets up well for forehand players. I've experienced a bit of that in my career out here, and I think Chandler coming over here for the first time playing in Europe, doing pretty well last week in Sula, and now showing what an all forehand player can do. I mean, he's just the opposite of a James Conrad, and it's pretty neat to watch. Certainly a player to keep an eye on. He's only been playing disc golf for a couple years, Nate.
Incredible. Speaking of forehands, I think forehand sets up great for the tee shot on 4. Eagle is going with the Zen roller once again. We saw this one get way up the fairway during that first round.
And once again, he has hit this line really nice, really important. When you throw the roller on this hole, just can't do much better, Nate.
Huge. He's just breaking these holes apart.
Making them look so much easier than they really are. You have to go understable with the roller on this hole because they can just stay, early tree kick.
Yep.
But it
went heat there.
If it gets on edge heading down the hill, it won't stop unless you have an incredibly understable disc.
That first camera angle is the one that I really want to see. I want to see the laser focus from these guys as they're visualizing their line.
Love it.
And similar miss to the tee shot on 3. Just kind of got on top of it.
Yep. Just a bit off on his focus and the release point right now for Gregg. And now he's in some trouble, and now he's in even bigger trouble. If this heads down the hill, could be in some more trouble. I think he should be able to scramble from there for the bogey, but
that Jasmine is huge if you're down below it.
Yeah.
It's really tricky. Paul's pretty out of position here. He might be rolling it again. Okay, he is.
Yeah, he is. And close to the right angle, but now you see what happens if you don't hit the perfect angle with the right disc on this hole. You will head down the hill in a quick way.
And James is in a prime spot after appearing that NB. Going NB again.
Oh, gosh. No one quite does it like the way James Conrad does it.
Matches the slope of the hill perfectly. Skips it into the wood chips. Okay. Gregg has to get crafty for this up and down bogey.
All right. Great shot.
Here it is again, Germ. Normally we would just see a little tactic forehand. Look at this.
There's so much skill on such a short shot. McMahon, is going to have another 4-for-4 start. Has not had a par in the first 4 holes. And we must have missed McBeth's approach, but he was able to get to that spot and clean up the easy par. Glossed over it really quick on hole 3, but there was absolutely 0 eagles in round 2.
Oh, really?
Whereas in round 1, I believe we had 5. No, 4 rather. And you mentioned McBeth and Conrad, but Ricky Wysocki and Matthias Vilota were the other 2.
Yeah.
None to speak of in round 2.
100-meter par 3. You're teeing slightly downhill, and it's severely sloped from right to left. Tough to get both the backhand and the forehand to kind of check up on this screen. very common to see the backhand kind of cut roll down that hill.
There's just no grass on this green, so there's nothing to really help you collect your disc and slow it down. It's a lot of times just up to chance on what happens to your disc once it gets to the screen.
And Eagle going Rainmaker again. He kind of had to hit a big putt yesterday.
Yeah, and he's going to need a bigger putt today. A fortunate kick, but that's going to be about 16, 17 meters away. It looks closer than it actually is, and that is a very scary putt to run from there. I still think that Eagle is going to run it the way that he has been putting. I don't see any reason for him to lay anything up at this point. So that looks really good, and it is James Conrad in the circle. Yeah, that fighter jet.
They needed the fighter jet for Eagles MD1 shot yesterday.
On the hole 17?
14%
Yes.
power. No, that was awesome, though. Paul, just a beautiful touch backhand shot. Nearly hits the pin.
Gregg, this is a nice looking shot. I liked
Oh,
everything besides that tree, and now the roll, and it's kind of like you really have to reset your focus right now because you finally hit your line the way you like. You're off by just a few inches, and the punishment did not meet the crime.
No, you're right, Jerm. I mean, it's tough mentally to take that after 3 bogeys in a row. Paul went deeper than I thought. He was actually outside the circle.
James with a slightly awkward stance just inside circle 1, and he is off. One of those situations where maybe a foot farther from the pin he would have been able to jump and maybe increase his chances of feeling comfortable on that green. So from very few pars on the card thus far to all 4 players.
Yeah, do we see the Eagle layup?
Did not see it.
I imagine that's what he did from deep in circle 2.
Well, we'll just assume that he laid up and then tapped in. Moving on to hole 6, par 3, 328 feet of straightness. Get a little bit of leeway off the tee as far as wiggle room, but up here you don't really get much room at all. There's a little stump on the ground as well that's about 20 meters from the pin, and you have to avoid that if you're playing the ground play slide up to the pin. Other than that, you can kind of just rip straight at it with as much speed as you want to, and this backstop should slow your disc down.
Oh, Eagle going MD1.
And a nice
Look at the late flip
change from round. Oh, beautiful.
Oh my gosh.
If you like disc golf, you like that.
James going relay here. Kind of a flippier fairway.
Oh, it's very understable. And a kick off to the right side, but that is pretty well protected. I don't think he's going to have a really good look for the birdie. McBeth is also just barely off.
Yeah, I mean, James finding the Guardian on the left, Paul the Guardian on the right, kind of shows you the difficulty of accessing this green.
Both going with understable drivers to try to open up that fairway, just barely missing their line. Gregg, this has got to turn left. It does not, and the early struggles continue for Barsby. This course really does set up well for him with the backhand-forehand combo, but right now he's just not quite on his line.
It's crazy how fast it's unfolding too, Jeremy. I mean, Gregg came into this round 3 back. He's now 9 strokes back.
He's about to be 10 back. And you're right. I mean, if you're not bowling strikes, you're
gonna lose bowling.
Then you're throwing gutter balls. Leaving a lot of pins on the table right now. On the alley, the lane, on the lane.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's nice.
Yeah, we'll get there. Eagle got there in 2. And still just 3 pars for the entire event. He's reaching like a winning score in previous years, and we're just barely into round 2.
Yeah, I mean, you just never know. Like sometimes you said it, the pace is not necessarily perfection.
Yeah,
like it is this week.
Yeah, it's in these conditions though. I mean, it's warm weather. The wind is
Relatively
kind of
calm
it's
this
calm.
round. Yeah.
This course can be a lot windier, and it's relatively calm, and he hasn't necessarily separated himself. Paul McBeth is just 3 back, but next back is 6, and then it starts getting farther and farther away, and yeah, it's a great pace set right now by Eagle McMahon as we head to hole 7, par 4, 568 feet up this hill. You want to dance around these birch trees and set yourself up for a downhill approach. Yesterday we saw Eagle McMahon go so far that he literally was throwing about 80 degrees to his right. He was nearly pin high off the tee. It was pretty incredible. But that's what you're looking to do on this short par 4. Big distance off the tee really sets up for an easier approach as you have a very daunting green.
He's going Cloudbreaker 3 again.
A little too much hyzer perhaps, but look at the kick forward.
Oh yeah, that's still.
And the
prime time.
roll into the sweet spot. Maybe one tree in the way, but you can't really complain about that result.
Yeah, just a little early, just a hair earlier than Eagles, but squares up that tree, and he's well out of position.
The nasty place in this fairway is down right, and the best way to get down there is these trees on the left. They are very brutal. They oftentimes kick you right down in that treacherous little spot.
So you can see Paul pured that Onyx, and he came up a disc short of Eagles.
Oh my gosh.
That was pulled big time from Gregg.
You can kind of see what Barsby has. It's just absolute junk down there.
This is tough to watch right now. Gregg is having a rough day. And the course kind of seems like it's on top of him a little bit, you know? He's like...
You know, 1 or 2, I don't want to call them bad breaks, but, you know, like 1 or 2 missed throws and a nice little forehand approach for James.
Spicy forehand
Yeah,
shot.
a
I
little
don't see
spicy.
that very often.
But once you miss a couple shots out here, your confidence level can just plummet.
Has anyone else noticed Paul's grip is like a little... Like he's like exaggerating the nose up when he's gripping
Yeah.
onto the disc?
And you'll see that a lot of times in the later flight of his discs, they just hit the ground with that nose up and he gets that extra slide. Go back to hole 1 and see how his buzz just hovered over the ground. Controls the nose angle, puts a little pace behind it, lets the disc do all the work. Eagle, not exactly his best approach. He's going to have to work hard with a scary little putt. And Barsby's trying to scramble here for his par. If this puts the brakes on, I think he's going to like the result. He is. It's good work there,
That is a
too.
good scramble from down there.
Absolutely.
my goodness, that would be insane, birdie.
That would have been pretty crazy.
You nearly dunked it. Oh, okay. He's actually at circle's edge here.
And without seeing what happened on hole 5 after his drive came up short, we really don't know if he ran his putt or not. So we can still pretty much say that any putt he has tried to attempt has made it into the basket thus far. Yeah, if birdies are contagious, I want to be infected with whatever they have, because this looks so easy and fun.
It does look very easy.
It's just, it seems like Eagle has the infection of birdie disease. Maybe he has bird flu. I don't know what it is, but he is. It's incredible. 6 under through 7.
With the 2 easiest holes coming up.
And he was 6 under through 7 yesterday, but with no, he was actually 5 under because he had a bogey.
Yeah.
So he's actually off to a better start today than his course record-setting performance in round 1. And birdies galore coming up here on hole 8, easiest hole on the course. Par 3, 236 feet. New tee pad from prior years due to a parking lot being added by the city of Nokia, which we should take this moment and thank the city of Nokia for being incredible hosts to this major event for the last 11 years.
Is this still playing as the easiest hole on the course, Trent?
Oh, I don't even need to look at the stats to tell you that. I mean, it's 2.4 average in round 1, and we're looking at a 2.4 average in round 2.
Eagle going razor claw 1.
Oh, the width almost got him, but look at, when you got the bird flu, you just get good kicks.
It just kicks immediately to the pin. Same buzz again at fall through on hole 1.
This is a little straighter than I'd like, or that he'd like, but it worked out fine. I think that tree may have helped him a bit. That was looking to get a counter skip, which could have put it at the back edge of the circle, which would have just been a birdie, but a different kind of birdie.
Highly likely birdie. Right outside the bullseye. Looks like Gregg's actually going fairway here.
And Gregg's in a gotta have it type of situation. You're not gaining strokes on anyone, but you're certainly losing strokes if you're not getting the birdie. Not a routine putt by any means for your average disc golfer, but
No,
it seems like just dropping a piece of trash in the trash can right now.
I mean, back-to-back kind of nervy putts right there.
Yeah. And good putt from Paul. I don't know about you. Have you ever tried throwing trash into the trash can at the restaurant? You know, like a fast food place?
Yeah.
I miss all the time.
Every time.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's exciting when you make it, though.
It is. You look kind of cool. Eagle's looking really cool right now. He's dropping trash in the bucket from everywhere in the restaurant.
He is kind of setting him in there. You know, sometimes he really kind of hits high center chains, but the pace is dialed.
You know, he has that style that a lot of younger players have, that more forceful putt.
Mm-hmm.
Gregg, more old school. We were actually referring to his style yesterday. His putt comes in so slow as he finally gets back on track with the birdie. Yeah, he's throwing his hands up. Who hasn't been there? Interacting with the big crowd that we have here in round 2, but it's Eagles' pace isn't necessarily fast. It's firm, it's committed,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just fast enough that I don't think I'm concerned about it spitting out. It's just
No,
it's
the
just
pace is
right
great,
on line.
especially when it's this calm out. I mean, the flags are not moving
Not
whatsoever.
Yeah.
Here we are to close out this front 9. We saw Eagle go with that Razor Claw 1 force over, which is certainly the trickier of 2 lines. The wide hyzer forehand is the preferred route on this hole, and he's going with the same disc.
Oh, an early kick left. There's actually out of bounds up there. He's just inside that line. That would have been a devastating reversal to the trend of birdies.
Force here for Paul. Oh, it's a little high. He knows it.
It is high, but this ground play has been incredibly fast. I've never seen discs skip the way that I've seen them skip this year. And I think going wider is a better play this year with a few of these trees that have been forcing a certain line in the past, not there anymore. I think that maybe the groundskeepers are cutting the grass down lower to kind of mitigate the ease that this hole has kind of increased.
And if you make it in the foot golf hole, I heard that you get the Pudistamo energy drink after your round on hole 18.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Barsby, here's that wide line. It's lower. Now watch the disc just launch.
Check
And
out.
look at that, out of bounds. Every year in the past that you see that exact shot, it stops. I've never seen the skips that we are seeing this year on this hole.
Man, Gregg said it. It's so dry. He must have got one of those dry patches right there. Foot golf. Oh, sorry, Eagle. No Pudistamo.
Is that just at any time, or is it off the tee? I feel like off the tee you should get a whole case of Pudistamo.
Yeah.
I believe Calvin did that in the President's Cup.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
-12-meter putt here.
A big opportunity for McBeth to cut into that 3-stroke deficit. And we are going to see no birdies on hole 9. This was the second easiest hole in round 2. It was the third easiest here, or in round 1, it's the third easiest here in round 2. And our lead card is at best even par, and that's only if Gregg makes this putt, which he does not. And so a very...
Really tough front 9 for Barsby.
And that's going to put him to 12 back, and at the pace that Eagle McMahon is going right now, I mean, in your head, it's hard to feel like I'm still in this. There's a lot at play for so many different situations as far as finishing well, and I don't think that Gregg looks at events like these as a win or go home type of thing, and I don't think many of us do. But it's still difficult to know that your chances of winning this event, if that was your ultimate goal, are essentially gone just because of one tough 9-hole stretch. That being said, Eagle McMahon, wow.
Yeah, it's
And you just
amazing
mentioned
disc golf to
him
spectate.
on hole 4, Chandler Kramer with a 7 under himself.
Whoa.
All forehands. We have all forehand 7 under, all backhand 7 under. There's no real right way to do it, is there, Nate?
No, there's not. European Open, man. What a premium disc golf event. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Check us out on the back 9 of round 2.